to the Hot Pass Podcast. This is the Friday morning betting show. If it's your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. Go over to Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Go listen to the podcast. Make sure to leave a rate, a like, a share, whatever. Make sure you share with your friends, because we make bags. We made 13 units or whatever, and F1 and NASCAR, Xfinity, Cup Series was okay, but Xfinity we cashed big. F1 was great. You got to follow me at @FurlongEric_ on Instagram, X, TikTok. Just make sure you hit that, because that's where I'm going to post my trucks and Xfinity bets that are exclusive to the Friday morning betting show. About an hour before the races, I make sure I post them. So make sure to go over to the YouTube. Link is in the bio. And make sure to go over there to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube and like and rate and share and subscribe to the podcast there as well. So you can see my lovely, beautiful face and see what we're drinking today. It's a regular Beast Unleashed. If you guys don't know what that is, it's Monster, made an alcoholic beverage. If you've been listening to it for a bit, you already know the whole jam. Trying to get a sponsor for the podcast. That would be fucking sick when they come to Canada. But my buddy that lives in Nashville that I became friends with or whatever down at Charlotte when I was at the Coke 600, ended up sending me a care package. Came in yesterday. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll make an unpacking video or whatever of all the merch he gave me, including go to the YouTube. You're going to see this. It's like a Yeti, like a knockoff Yeti or whatever, but they made Nasty Beast hard tea Yeti canisters or whatever, so you can put specifically only your slim can of Nasty Beast or Beast Unleashed in your cup holder, because they're like a certain size slim can. It's very unique. And now it's going to keep my drink cold. So now we're going to sip one back. So not a sponsor, but it's so fucking good. If you guys go down to the States, and if you're American, go to your local convenience store. And they're always a variety pack. But I know that some, like Chevrons or whatever, you can go down and they'll have like a little cooler or whatever, and you can pick one, and they'll have like the extra large cans, like the king cans. And there'll be the green one. Get the green one. It tastes exactly like a regular Monster. 6%. Get you fucked right up. And 0 sugar, no caffeine, and it doesn't get you bloated. So anytime I do have a beverage, I just drink these. And then when I'm out, plan a trip to go down to the States again for more than 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever it is, and so I can bring back a 2-4 of it. Anywho, also, before we get into the Hot Pass Podcast, I'm recording this a little bit earlier on Thursday, because at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, you guys will be listening to this Friday morning, but you guys can go check it out. In Between Media they do a lot of like betting stuff or whatever. If you go to In Between Media on YouTube, I'm joining, I think his name, what the hell is his name again? Let me see if I can pull it up for you real quick. Seth Woolcock. It's a Woollycock boy. I'm joining Seth Woolcock on, I think it's called, I can't remember the show. Oh, The Back Road. So I'll go to In Between Media on YouTube. Go make sure to check out The Back Road. So when you guys are listening to this, it'll be already up, ready, and loaded. I'm doing a live show on Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern. So go see my face. I think it's usually about an hour and a half. This will be my first time on it, and then hopefully I can, it's good enough, and I give good enough picks that I can be on it again down the road. So make sure to go check that out as well. So let's dive in to what's happened during the week. Also, there is huge news right now. At the time you guys are listening to this on Friday, most likely there's going to be an announcement that Martin Truex Jr. is going to be retiring from NASCAR at the end of the season. I don't like that it's kind of gotten out. I think we're all kind of indifferent on this, but it is nice that Joe Gibbs Racing gave him a bit of a deadline, I think before Nashville in a couple of weeks, to come out with his news that he has to make a decision, because last year he waited pretty much all fucking year, basically almost up to the playoffs, to be able to announce that he'll be coming back. There's lots of moving tables now. So now that Martin Truex Jr. is going to be leaving the Cup Series, there are so many moving parts here. Noah Gragson at Stewart Haas has a big sponsorship. Used to be with Bass Pro Shops in the Xfinity Series. Still has really good ties with them. Is Austin Dillon going to retire, who also has Bass Pro Shop sponsorship? And then number 3, now that Truex is gone, Noah Gragson, I think, has an alliance with Toyota years ago. So if he goes over to Toyota, maybe I'm just talking out my ass on that one. I'm not exactly sure. But if he goes to Joe Gibbs would be great. But then Ty Gibbs and Noah, they have a bit of a fucking history in Xfinity. So we'll see even how that goes. And then does he go to, he already has a Chevy Alliance right now. Well, then he was in Ford, and then he was in a Chevy in Junior Motorsports. But so he's basically a manufacturer whore at this point. So Noah Gragson basically has his, I feel like it has his picks, because this motherfucker can drive, and we're seeing him in the Cup Series for sure. That would be, if there were odds, okay, if there was, this is a Friday morning betting show. So if there was betting odds on whether he's going to be in the Cup Series next year, let me tell you, the line's at a -1,000. And if it's not, and it's like a -500, I'm betting my entire life savings because he will be in the Cup Series next year. No doubt. We just got to wait and see how this is all going to play out at this point, because there have been rumors that Austin Dillon is going to leave the number 3. I think what's going to happen is, and I've thought this for a while, and I actually haven't brought this up. We're going to get to the betting picks soon, but I just try and jump into a little bit of the news a little sooner on, right? Or like at the very beginning of the show, and then we get into the betting picks. So welcome to the Hot Pass Podcast. ADHD, talking too fast, maybe mumbling my words, but I'm excited to talk about it. So what my brother and I have thought is, when Austin Hill signed a long-term deal with RCR, they never specified that it was technically just for Xfinity. So what I think Austin Dillon is going to do, he'll retire, whether it's this year or next year. Austin Hill will make his move up. Oh my God, I need to turn that off, bro. Whoa. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that was extremely fucking loud. Nobody should be texting me right now. Can I turn off notifications, please? Let me go over here. Sorry, guys. Just 1 second. Focus. Do not disturb. Merci beaucoup. Now just make sure that the video is still working. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Welcome back to the Hot Pass Podcast. Okay. So, anyways, I think Austin Dillon, he'll retire either this year or next year, and then Austin Dillon will come up to the Cup Series. So I think the 3 is a bit off the table. I think Austin Hill has such a good alliance with RCR, and he signed that long-term contract. I really do think Austin Hill ain't staying down there, dude. There's no way. There's no way. The only thing I could see is Austin Hill having issues with getting enough sponsorship to be able to go up to the Cup Series. That's the only thing. I know Bennett Trucking or whatever it is a big sponsor for him, but it's a big move to be able to jump up to the Cup Series. So that's the only thing that I think is holding Austin Hill back from getting a full-time ride up into the Cup Series. And I mean, that's NASCAR all the time, is can you be able to jump up and be able to get sponsorship? I mean, Richard Childress is really good at being a businessman. He'll figure it out if he really likes the guy, and they basically suck each other off anyways and shower with each other at this point. So I'm an idiot. Definitely ruining my any sort of relationship I could ever have with RCR. But at this point, it was already dead anyways because they're all assholes. So I'm going to go out on a limb. Okay, I'm going out on a limb. I mumble my words because I talk too damn fast. I'm like an auctioneer. That Noah Gragson's going to the 19. I'm saying it right now. You can clip it, put it up on Instagram. Noah's going to the 19. The Bass Pro Shops doesn't even have to leave that, and Ty Gibbs and him will get over their issues, or they'll just still have their issues. And Noah Gragson can be competitive. And dude, no, we don't want to see Noah Gragson go to the number 3 and drive like a piece of dog shit, because we're already seeing what's going on with Kyle Busch and the talent that Kyle Busch has. That number 3 has been irrelevant for a long time, since Dale Sr. All right. I want to see Noah Gragson in a competitive car and be able to win races, get in the playoffs. And he's such a fan favorite and a nice guy. Get him in the 19. Do whatever you can. Ty, Noah, go to church on Sunday. and praise be the Lord and sing some hymns because we need you in the 19. So clip that, put that on fucking Instagram and TikTok. All right. Noah Gragson to the 19. So let's get into the betting picks. This is what we're all here for. Friday morning betting show at @FurlongEric_ on Instagram, X, and TikTok. We're about 20,000 views on the one video about Haley Deegan now. I'll keep giving you updates on it. It keeps going crazy. I don't understand it. I don't understand the algorithm. Maybe I need to study it like Mr. Beast, but it's going crazy. So make sure to follow that. Go to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Like, rate, share, subscribe. Let's get into the picks. Now, remember, guys, we're going to Iowa. Xfinity's raced here before. I think the last time was 2019, so before COVID. I think the guys that have raced here that are still in the Xfinity series, I think, is Justin Allgaier. John Hunter Nemechek is coming down to drive the number 20. So is Ross Chastain. Chastain's driving the 92, so irrelevant. Austin Hill's driven down at Iowa before in the Xfinity series. I'm pretty sure. At least, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. I just don't have to pull it up. Cole Custer's driven there. So basically about 80 to 90% of the drivers that are driving in the Xfinity series now have never driven there in an Xfinity car. So this is going to be basically a crapshoot. I told you guys on Monday, basically just wait for practice and qualifying. Some odds came out, and I'm going to give you guys my best idea and prediction of what's going to happen in practice and qualifying, and then you guys you'll have to stay tuned to about probably 1 or 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon Eastern time to be able to see the full betting picks. But I feel pretty comfortable with what I've got right now. Okay. So let's start off with the matchups. If you guys are new here, I always start off with Xfinity or truck, whatever they're racing first. Trucks and Xfinity. Trucks are still off till Nashville. So I start off with Xfinity. I go matchups, top fives, and then outrights, top threes, whatever, right? Whatever kind of positional props we've got, and then go out to outrights. If you go to Bet365, I've got this matchup right now. It's Sam Mayer, and it's labeled as Jesse Little. Bet365. I have no idea who Jesse Little is, but I do know who Jesse Love is. So maybe we need to fix that fucking thing. Don't do this to me. Don't make me go bet on this, and then all of a sudden you decide to change the name and then drop the fucking line, and then all of a sudden you give me my money back and the line's changed. Don't be Betway. Okay, Bet365, you guys have been great people to me, giving out great lines. Let's keep this fucking momentum going. So Sam Mayer over Jesse Love at -115. They're both sitting at -115, and I'm really confused. The favorite is either, depending on the book you go to, it's either John Hunter Nemechek or Justin Allgaier for great reason. And I think either one of them are probably going to win the race. Then it goes Chandler Smith, who's been irrelevant until he shows up to these style of tracks. So, for a good cause. And then it goes to Cole Custer. We'll talk about him in a minute. And then it jumps off, I think, to Jesse Love. What the fuck have you showed me, Jesse, that is making you a favorite over Sam Mayer? Okay. Austin Hill. Okay. I personally think he should be back with an Austin Hill. Austin Hill's betting lines. Oh, I forgot to bring up one other guy that's racing in this race. I'll bring it up in a second. Okay. I'm not going to forget. Don't worry. This is my boy, Mustache Boy. Okay. And if you know who I'm talking about, get your fucking nuts excited, bro. This guy's driving a Joe Gibbs car this weekend. I'm fucking pumped. But he should be back there with an Austin Hill, Brett Moffitt, even past that dude. He should be like a 20-1 car. He should be back there with Sammy Smith. What has Jesse Love fucking shown anybody other than winning at Talladega? Yeah, okay, he can pop up into a top 5, but I ain't taking him at this fucking line. Are you higher than a goddamn kite? Are you higher than a kite? So Sam Mayer has been the top 5 king at this point. After he got through all the bullshit at the beginning of the season, he's been consistent, and he's also shown speed at these tracks. A little bit of hiccups or whatever, late race stuff. Richmond, he was really, really good. He had a bit of tire rub or whatever, and kind of made him fall off. Because our comparable tracks are Gateway, which we just drove at, and Xfinity doesn't go there. Phoenix, obviously Xfinity races there, and then Richmond. And Sam Mayer at the beginning of the season had some hiccups, getting in accidents. Phoenix didn't even get to show the speed. And I personally think Sam Mayer was the best motherfucker out there. Come at me. So, Sam Mayer, don't get it twisted. Sam Mayer might qualify a little bit bad. He's been okay with qualifying. All right. But Jesse Love could qualify well, but then he keeps running into stuff. Every week, he just spun out by himself last week, or I think at Sonoma, which is obviously not a comparable track. But Jesse Love gives us nothing. So I'm hammering the shit out of this. Be my guest too. But Sam Mayer, if he can stay out of the bullshit, Junior Motorsports shows up on these kind of tracks all the time. Has Sam Mayer driven here yet? I don't fucking think so. But he'll figure it out. I'm sure sitting down just with Justin Allgaier, talking about how this track drives. Obviously, nobody's driven on this track with the new the pavement or whatever, or asphalt, between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, that's one thing we need to remember. Is it's basically going to be a boring race for the Cup Series, but we'll get into that. Sam Mayer over Jesse Love just feels like an absolute lock at this point, so I'm hammering the shit out of it. So, yeah. That's one matchup I've got. Everything else, for matchups wise, I mean, there's a lot of plus money to get over John Hunter Nemechek. Like Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier are both plus money on DraftKings behind John Hunter Nemechek. The thing is if John Hunter Nemechek was in the 26, that he's been driving in a lot this year, I would be hammering the shit out of both of those. But when John Hunter Nemechek comes to this style of track, and drives in the Joe Gibbs racing cars, it's very good. So before we move on to the positional props, I want to talk about one guy that's getting his opportunity in a Joe Gibbs car, and I'm pretty sure it's the 19. Brett Moffitt. The video that's going viral right now on TikTok or whatever with almost 20,000 views is basically me trashing Hailie Deegan and giving all this hype about Brett Moffitt. Now, Brett better show the fuck up. Now, on this track, I don't know his history. I mean, he's gotten on these style of tracks. He's gotten top 10s in like the 02 a couple years ago. I think in the first year he drove in that 02, but other than that, like he doesn't really show out the best. Now, he does drive top 15 in AM racing equipment, where we know where AM racing is with Hailie Deegan in it, which is a worse than 26th place car on a weekly basis. So I think he's going to drive inside the top 10. Will he get top 5? I don't know. I don't like the line that he's at. I'd rather take, and we're going to get into Austin Hill in a second. 1 second. I just don't think that the line that we're getting Brett Moffitt at right now is not good. I think he's like maybe plus 200. If he qualifies bad, it's been a bit since he's been in the Xfinity car, but he's obviously had lots of experience. So I just want to wait and see what he's got. So we're going to wait and see what Brett Moffitt's got. I might sprinkle on a top 3 just because I think it is on a little bit on the longer side. I don't have any top 3 picks right now, but I mean, Brett I think can do it, and he better prove me right. He better not finish dead last, or my video is I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot. So let's get into the positional props. Austin Hill plus 240 on Bet365. We don't like Austin Hill around here, but he does win money. The thing is at Richmond he had an okay car. Phoenix he always has kind of an okay car. I mean, he definitely had a top 5 car at the 2023 championship. And then kind of just let guys go by or whatever because he didn't want to really mess up with the championship race. He said he might even had a race-winning car. It just seems like once Austin Hill kind of has bad weeks, whether it's even at a road course, the last 2 road courses they were at back-to-back weeks, He didn't show up well 2 weeks ago at Portland, and then had arguably a top 5 car, definitely a top 10. And then if anything happens, I feel like Austin Hill can get through. And Austin Hill, we've talked about it multiple times, and a lot of betting programs talk about it, that Austin Hill kind of just shows up. So top 5 at plus 240, where other books have him about either plus 220 or plus 200. At those lines too, if you guys are using DraftKings or Caesars or whatever, I would still take that line. I wouldn't necessarily hammer it, but I put a unit and a half on it just because I feel like he's going to be there. He's driven there before, and I feel like Austin Hill can kind of he is consistently like pretty good at a lot of these tracks. Don't touch Jesse Love. It just seems like he can figure it out. Now, is he turning into almost like a Sheldon Creed where he's very inconsistent? He can kind of pop up inside of top 3, maybe not win the race, but he gets really aggressive. Yeah. And the thing is, the only thing that's really scaring me is the fact that he's got a chip on his shoulder. And if there's a late race restart, which we know is coming, I think it could hurt him because he does a lot of this dumb shit. So watch out for Austin Hill's temper. But I think Austin Hill, no matter what, I think he's going to be top 7 car all day. It's a matter of getting by those Joe Gibbs cars. I think he can wrangle with the Junior Motorsports cars all the time. So those Joe Gibbs cars will be filling up the top 3 for sure. Justin Allgaier will be up there. I think seeing him 6th or 5th, he's going to be there. And a plus 240 is a great number. So the hammer of the weekend is Cole Custer. He's had a couple of top 5 finishes here at Iowa when he used to be in his previous stint before going up to the Cup Series, his previous stint in the Xfinity Series. And Cole Custer at minus 120. That's the best line you're going to find. I think other places have him either minus 120 or minus 150. So make sure to shop around. I can't find any plus money, but we got to think about it like this. He won the championship race at Phoenix last year, so the comparable track. I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick for you guys. Let me go to... I'm going to Racing Reference real quick. Let me just type this in. Cole Custer. What's going on? One sec. Cole Custer. All right. I just want to see his finishing this year on the at Phoenix as well as Richmond. Okay. On my phone, it doesn't do all these ad pop-ups, but on my laptop, it just decides to. Thanks, Mac. I know I'm breathing in the microphone, too. This is absolutely terrible. Okay. So Richmond. We'll just bounce over to Richmond. Richmond in his previous years. So this year, he had a 10th place finish or whatever, but before that was 5th. His previous stint years before, 3rd, 1st. Okay, comparable track, right? Let's go back, go to Phoenix, the other comparable track, because they don't race at Gateway. I can go to Iowa as well, too, here. So let me just pull it up. I mean, in 9 races, he has 7 top 10s at Phoenix, which is the comparable track. So let me just name this off. How about that? So from 2017 in the 2nd race at Phoenix, he's finished 7th, 8th, 4th, 2nd, 12th, 1st, and 5th. 5th was this year. Okay, that's top 5. What am I talking about? Top 5. So, and there was a bunch of bullshit at the end of the race too, with Justin Allgaier spinning out in a late race restart, and Chandler Smith goes and wins the race. So you got to keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. But let me just bounce up to Iowa real quick. Oh my God, this interface is terrible for Racing Reference, dude. Absolute dog poop. Okay. Bounce around because I got ads everywhere. So, holy mother, man. This is the worst segment ever. So, he's driven here from 2017 to 2019, and that was 6 races. 4 out of the 6 races, he finished inside the top 10. And then 3 out of the 6 races was in the top 5. He finished in 2019 in the spring race, finished 2nd. 2018 in the spring race was 4th. And then 2017 in the fall race was 5th. So boom, right there. Guys that I'm going to keep saying it this weekend is guys that have raced at Iowa before in the Xfinity Series. I understand that there's a new repave between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But I'm going to go with the guys that, since it's our first time back here since 2019, I'm just going to go with the guys that have data here, have raced well here. And this is my biggest hammer is Cole Custer minus 120. I put about 3.5 units or whatever on it, whatever your unit count is. But I've hammered the shit out of it. I just feel like he'll be there, right? And what I'm trying to beat is the books. I'm trying to beat the books because Cole Custer's going to qualify well here. Cole Custer usually on a weekly basis is qualifying really well. The only time he hasn't qualified within the top 6. So out of the 6 races here at Iowa, he's qualified since 2017. He qualified the first time, was 24th, and finished 24th. So throw that out. But ever since then, he's qualified 5th, 2nd, 1st, and then 6th. So he's going to qualify well. He has experience here, so I expect him to qualify well. So that minus 120 is going to be gone. So when we move over to the outright bets, I'm just going to take the longest shot out of the favorites, which is Cole Custer. So we'll get there in a second. But minus 120 feels like almost like a lock. I feel like we're getting a bit of a steal on Austin Hill and Cole Custer this week. So, yeah, and I'll say it again. Don't take Jesse Love. What are you doing? This could bite me in the ass, and you'll hear about it on Monday if Jesse Love does end up finishing in the top 5. But, yeah, Austin Hill and Cole Custer, minus 120 and plus 240 on Bet365. All right. Top 3, I was looking at like a Chandler Smith. The only thing that scares me is like he doesn't have speed really anywhere else other than these tracks. And top 3, I just want to wait and see. If I can get plus money after practice, I'll probably take it. I just want to see his speed. So that's something on the top 3 market I'm just going to hold off for now. I was looking at like a Sam Mayer or a Sammy Smith. But let's go to the outright market, and then we'll get over to Cup. So I'm taking Sammy Smith, and you guys might be wondering why. The only reason I'll continuously go back to I'll go back to this. I'll go back to the well every time. Is Sammy Smith joined Junior Motorsports mainly because he performed at Phoenix. He got his first ever win while as a rookie in a Joe Gibbs car in the 18, but at Phoenix, which is a comparable track. And Sammy Smith, Junior Motorsports, and have been kind of up and down unless Sam Mayer has been the most consistent out of the 4. Brandon Jones, I love the guy, but I'm not taking him. He drives well at these style of tracks too, so you never know. But move him to the side, and then Sammy Smith is another guy that's good here. Junior Motorsports knows how to set up a car here and set up a car for these style of tracks. I think this is one of their best tracks, best style of tracks, I should say. And Sammy Smith at 25-1 being, back there. Brandon Jones was like 40-1. But on Bet365 being 25-1, Sammy Smith being this is his best tracks. I think he's going to qualify probably outside the top 10, so it might drift out. But because of the unknown of how this track is, and our first time being here since 2019, I just wanted to jump on it real quick just in case he does all of a sudden randomly qualify really well. And if it drifts out, I sprinkled on it. So if it does drift out, I'll take a little bit more. I just want to see how his practice numbers look and his qualifying numbers. So there's not much to go backing up Sammy Smith, but if there's late race calamity and he's kind of sitting around like 10th or 11th, which I think he's probably going to do, he could try and save his tires and have some pit strategy. And at 25-1 for a Junior Motorsports car, that, as I said, and I'll keep saying it, Sammy Smith as being good at these style of tracks, I'll take it. So the other guy, the only final outright I've got right now is Cole Custer at 6-1. You can find him 5-1 or 5.5-1 on Caesars and Bet Rivers. He's 6-1. And I talked about Cole Custer. I talked about how good he's going to probably be here. We're on the top 5. I might as well be on the outright. We've got around 3-1, 3.5-1. We got John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Allgaier, and Chandler Smith. And then it drifts out to 6-1 for Cole Custer. I'll take that because they're all going to be qualifying probably around the same. Chandler Smith, Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek, and Cole Custer. They're probably all going to be at least around top 5, top 6. And Cole Custer's numbers will get slashed. We've seen it before, whether it's at Phoenix or Richmond, any sort of other short tracks like New Hampshire. We're going to New Hampshire next week, but any kind of style of short track, Martinsville, Cole Custer, he rarely opens up at like 6 or 7 to 1. Definitely on these style of tracks, and John Hunter Nemechek helped him drift out. So I think he would have been probably a solid 5 to 1 or 4.5 to 1 if John Hunter Nemechek wasn't in this field. So I think it ain't getting better than 6 to 1. I mean, unless he has absolute terrible qualifying and looks absolutely terrible in practice. I know it's a Stewart-Haas car. I know it's probably scaring the shit out of me too. Did they just give up? I don't think so. So later on in the season, I might start getting a little scared, but they're all set in place, and I think Cole Custer could do it. So I was trying to talk myself out of taking Stewart-Haas this weekend, but Cole Custer has burned me in the past, but I think he can do it, and I'm not giving up on Stewart-Haas just yet. So that is the Xfinity bets. Sam Mayer over Jesse Love, -115 on Bet365. Austin Hill, +240 for a top 5 on Bet365. Cole Custer as well on Bet365. He's -120 for a top 5, so we hammered that. Top 3, we're going to wait for now. And then Sammy Smith, 25 to 1 on Bet365. And then on Bet Rivers and Caesars, Cole Custer at 6 to 1. Let's jump over to the Cup Series. A lot of us are here for the Cup Series. Okay, I get it. All right. Do I have much? Nope. It's hard to predict what the hell's going to go on. So I've kind of just held off on it. I think I've got 4 picks right now, including a qualifying matchup parlay. You guys probably won't get the same number as me on that, but roughly close. So I'll start off with a top 10 bet that I've been looking at all week. It is a Hendrick Motorsports car. And I'm betting it right after this. I haven't bet it, but it came to my mind. I was like, let's just do it. Because if he qualifies well, I think he's been consistently qualifying well and being inside the top 10. We all know who I'm talking about. If you watch races, you listen to the broadcast, they keep talking about him. He's Mr. Consistent with the top 10s. Alex Bowman, he's +250 on Bet365, where he's sitting around +160 or +150 or so, or even worse on a lot of books. And Bet365 hasn't adjusted. So I wanted to see if they would adjust, and they never have. So before recording this, I looked at it, put it in my Action Network, and I'm going to place a bet when I'm done here. He's just Mr. Consistent. And if you're going to keep giving us these numbers, and I understand he's the 4th, he's the worst driver. He's a great driver. Okay. Alex Bowman's a great driver, and I think he's got the most personality out of the 4 fucking Hendrick drivers. But if you want to keep disrespecting him, where he had a couple of, I don't know how many top 10s in a row, and he's good on points right now too, I'll keep taking it. And he's when did he win at Richmond? He has a history of being half decently well at these style of tracks. He's obviously he might have driven here years ago. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think so. But Kyle Larson, I listened to what the hell is it called? Dirty Mo Doe, and Steve Letarte knows how the whole situation works at Hendrick Motorsports. If one driver goes and runs a test, it's open book for everybody to look at the data. Alex Bowman's going to be able, and his crew chief are going to be able to look at the data, be able to set up a car, and I think they can do it. Top 10 plus 250, 240, whatever the hell it is, I feel like is a great number for a Hendrick car, and a guy that Steve Letarte kind of went out on a whim and said that he could win this week and he could shock everybody. Had me thinking. I was looking at it too. I was looking at him at 50 to 1 because like if he qualifies well, but I just think it's going to be a boring race, and Joe Gibbs Racing is going to be too fucking good on these tracks. Definitely with that, I think they have a little bit of extra downforce with the way their car is shaped. So, I mean, it's just like at this point, it's going to be hard to beat any kind of Toyota on these style of tracks. So the outright market for Alex Bowman, I don't think I'd be touching, but top 10, I think he can run there. At Richmond, until they Bubba and Alex Bowman both got screwed on a stupid fucking caution from Kyle Busch, literally going up the track and just absolutely tapping the wall, which is the definition of fucking Kyle Busch's whole season this year. They just called the caution right away and screwed Bubba Wallace and Alex Bowman. It's a comparable track, and they were both running inside the top 10, and Bubba was a top 5 car. So maybe look at a Bubba top 5. I haven't taken it, but maybe take a look at it. I've been looking at it. So Alex Bowman, top 10, plus 250, bet 365. By far the best line you're going to be able to find out there. As I just said, Bubba Wallace, I'm talking myself into it, a top 5. I don't know what his number is, but shop around, try and look for the best number. I know I'm going to. He's been a qualifying machine this year. With that extra downforce, Bubba Wallace is really good at a bunch of tracks. I understand he can be very streaky. I understand that he can wreck and get caught up in a bunch of nonsense. I trust him, to be honest, on a style of track like this more than Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick has been, really stale and outside the top 10 at Phoenix. Richmond, he led laps or whatever last year, I think in the fall race, or the summer race, whatever it is, and kind of just didn't get us. He's never gotten me excited. I mean, any kind of short track. Martinsville, he's bad, which is in a comparable track, but he's bad there. He just can't really figure these out. So if I can have a matchup, I'll take Bubba over him. There was a matchup, now that I'm thinking of it. So Bubba Wallace, top 5. Let's take it. We're biased, okay? We love Bubba. There was a matchup, Bubba Wallace, minus 150 over Austin Cindric. Take that all fucking day. I will bet, I'm going to put a lot of money on it. Fuck it. I'm going to put a lot of money on it because Austin Cindric, before his win, had an average finish. Okay. An average finish of like 25th place. Bubba Wallace, the only time he's back there is if he's wrecking. And I think this is going to be a very stale race. It's going to be single file, and pit crews are going to be mandatory, but Austin Cindric is going to be caught in the back. I understand Gateway is a comparable track. But we go to Phoenix, where's Austin Cindric? We go to Richmond, where's Austin Cindric? Nowhere to be found. So keep giving it to me. I hope I swear to God, I hope Austin Cindric qualifies well, because I'll take fucking any sort of matchup against Austin Cindric. It'll be like free money. There's no fucking way he's doing it again. There's no way. Gateway is the only track he's ever been really half decently good at, just running outside the top 10 consistently. So keep giving me this. I'll put how many units? 3 units on the bitch. I'll put 3 units on it right after this. Put 3 units on it. Bubba Wallace, minus 150 over Austin Cindric. I'm bet 365. And then I'll go to the outrights, and then I'll give you my qualifying matchup. And then that's the end. Chase Elliott, I got him 18-1. He opened up at 20-1. I think Ryan from Win the Race that we had on a couple weeks ago said that he's qualified nothing worse than 3rd on these style of tracks. Sounds kind of crazy. At least inside the top 5 for sure. No worse than 3rd? That's wild. I think he can fucking do it. I think he can do it. The fact, like, he's been really good at these style of tracks. So I don't really have much to say other than Chase Elliott being like basically 18 to 20-1 is a great number compared to William Byron and Kyle Larson, where Chase Elliott has been very, very consistent. I mean, if you want to take him a top 3 number as like a long number, I don't know what it is, but I think he could be top 3. I think he could be definitely a top 5. So, I mean, look at those numbers as well, guys. A top 5 or a top 3 before practice and qualifying, because if Ryan is correct and he qualifies really well at these style of tracks, that number is going to be long gone. I know he opened up at minus 125 for a top 10. He's now minus 150. I would even take the minus 150 for a top 10. This guy has been top 5 in his ass off after being kind of okay at the beginning of the year, and he's kind of finding his stride now. So I feel like we're finding a lot of value on some Hendrick guys that the books are kind of still disrespecting. I mean, Chase still finished, top 5 last week at Sonoma, not a comparable track, but he's just top 5 and his booty cheeks off. He just finds a way to get there. So I sounded really Canadian there, didn't I? I swear to God. And then Martin Truex Jr. I mean, we've got Ty Gibbs out at probably 12 or 14 to 1. C-Bell is plus 375 or plus 350, which is absolute psycho shit. I get it. He drove the tire test here. He's absolutely insane at Phoenix. He was insane at Gateway. He won at Phoenix, but at Gateway, what happened? Blew his engine. Does he qualify the best at these style of tracks? No. And you're going to hear about that in the qualifying matchup bet. I just think Truex being 11 to 1, well, Denny's like 7 to 1 or whatever, 6 to 1, whatever. Denny is going to be good. I mean, I wouldn't. This weekend is a weekend where I think it's going to be Martin Truex or Denny probably winning this fucking race. And they're going to be up front all day. So Martin Truex being 11 to 1, I will take it. He's about 10 to 1, sitting still at other books. I would take that too. I wouldn't take any worse than that because I just know where if he does qualify out just outside the top 10, he'll still be available at this. But 11 to 1, Martin Truex with the juju of him, he's saying he's retiring. I got a weird feeling he's going to come out and win this fucking bitch. He's had speed. It's just like getting wins stolen from him from Richmond. He was the best car at fucking Richmond, the comparable track, one of the three. Don't look at Gateway. Gateway, he had fucking engine issues or whatever. And then Phoenix, he's kind of always good at too. So he was top 5 there, I think, this year. So, and he was running them down other than Christopher Bell, obviously. So, Martin Truex is going to be good. 11 to 1, I feel like is an absolute steal for a Joe Gibbs car. And just the juju of him saying he's going to be retiring the day you guys are listening to this. So, Martin Truex, Chase Elliott. Martin Truex, 11 to 1. Chase Elliott, 18 to 1. I've been really good at these qualifying matchups. Okay. You guys don't have to parlay them up. There's one that makes me extremely nervous in this parlay, but I feel like we could hit this. This is some of my most profitable, not the parlays, but at least the single picks of matchups for qualifying. I've hit pretty solid this year. So knock on wood that we hit this. But I put a unit on it. It's plus 220. You can guys go over to Caesars. As far as I know, maybe after practice, Bet365 will probably have some qualifying matchup bets. They haven't had them for the last couple of weeks, so we'll see now that we're back on an oval. But the qualifying matchup parlay is Joey Logano over Brad Keselowski, plus Denny Hamlin over Christopher Bell at plus 220 on Caesars Sportsbook. I know some bets came in and moved Denny Hamlin from minus 115 to minus 130 on that, so you'll probably still get about 2 to 1 or so. Joey Logano was minus 140 over Brad Keselowski. Now let me break this down for you guys, and then we'll end the podcast. Denny Hamlin is consistently good at qualifying. Christopher Bell on these style of tracks always kind of he's a qualifying king. He kind of scares me, right? He can come, but I think a mile and a half, he's a little bit more consistent with getting the pole. So anytime you guys go to a mile and a half or we go to Michigan, definitely put your money on Christopher Bell for the pole. This weekend, I think Denny Hamlin's going to qualify probably inside the top 5. It's going to be a head-to-head matchup, going to be very sweaty, very close. It's probably one of the sweatiest matchups, and at least definitely the sweatiest parlay I've fucking made for qualifying matchups this year because of how fast C-Bell has been. He drove he did the tire test here, so it could go extremely bad, but I think Hamlin, he's just a qualifying master, and he's driven here probably in the past. I'm not too sure. He definitely does a really good job of qualifying on these style of tracks. So that's all I have to say about that one. And then Logano and Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski as well did the tire test here. I think my idea on this, I think it's kind of crazy that Joey Logano's minus 140 because we've got a guy where it's a new track. There's a bit of a repay between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on the low line that they're going to be running for qualifying. Joey Logano, as we know, is a repave king. He pulls it last week. We had 45 to 1. We called it out. He did a stupid strategy and fucks it up. But Joey Logano, every time we go to a new track or whatever, there's a new repave, as I said, he shows the fuck up. And he'll pull the bitch or he's really fast in practice and he qualifies well. Brad Keselowski, I feel like he's never been the best at qualifying. So 9 times out of 10, Joey Logano's probably going to beat him at this. Joey Logano has been very inconsistent this year, but Brad Keselowski has kind of found his stride in qualifying a little bit, but still a little bit of inconsistency. I know he qualified well at Gateway, but the thing is that Phoenix and Richmond, he did not qualify well, and Joey Logano didn't really either. So it's going to be a sweaty one. They're going to be very close, but Joey Logano 9 times out of 10 has probably beaten Brad Keselowski at qualifying, and Logano's kind of finding his stride a little bit too. All the Fords are, right? So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. I'm confident with this, but it's going to be sweaty booty cheeks, just like mine right now because it's hot in here. All right? So the Cup Series bets is Alex Bowman, plus 250 on Bet365 for a top 10. We're going to take a Bubba Wallace. I might take a Chase Elliott top 5 because that's got to be a half-decent number. And then we're going to take... we've got Chase Elliott, 18-1 on Caesars. Martin Truex on FanDuel at 11-1 for outright. And the qualifying matchup parlay, Logano over Brad Keselowski plus Hamlin over Seabell at plus 220 on Caesar Sportsbook. All right. Those are the plays. We've also got a Ludwig Aubert at minus 105 top 20 for the U.S. Open. We're feeling good about it. Please go. Let me just, before we break this down, go buy some Monster Beast. Let's get a sponsorship going. Make sure to go like, rate, share, subscribe to the podcast. Go to Apple, go to Spotify, leave a rating. Go to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and share the podcast wherever you get your podcast, guys. This has been great. We got a lot of new listeners. I'm sure we'll get some tonight on the on Thursday night when I'm doing the live show. So yeah, make sure to also go to In Between Media on YouTube. Go look at, I think it's the Back Road, and go check out the live show. It'll be the replay, obviously. And then make sure to go follow me at @FurlongEric_ on X, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, to make sure that you get the final betting card for Xfinity. Go to the Action Network. The link is in the bio. And go follow all my Cup Series bets. And then make sure to follow me there as well. And yeah, I hope you guys had a good week. Go Oilers. It is make or break tonight. And then Saturday, it could be the end of it all. Fuck the Celtics. Nobody likes Boston fans. And I love you guys. Even if you're a Boston fan, nobody likes Boston people. I love you too. So go check out the Hot Pass Podcast. Make sure to like, rate, share, subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys later. All right.